guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's another week here at the shop, and most of you seen the video from the weekend. Morgan Racing was in the house. We had Troy, Allen, all the guys up here. We also had Josh Burkhardt up here. If y'all seen the deal, how it kind of went down, Troy wrecked his brand new build that they had worked years on, the purple LT Camaro at Streetcar Takeover Charlotte. And rather than having to start over from scratch like most guys would, he was able to step into Josh Burkhardt's old car, which Josh sold him. Now Josh, one thing's led to another in his life. He works all the time, don't really have time to get out there and race or really have interest in finishing the car just because life's so busy. So it's a win-win for everybody because he gets to see his car that he's put so much time in and got such a long history with finished now. Only it's going to be a stick shift instead of an auto car. So kind of the way this is going to work, the motor and transmission is still Josh's. All that stuff's going to come out, and the turbo kit and the roller is what come with this deal. So we're going to pull the turbo kit apart. The turbo is actually going to go on Jonathan's Buick build whenever we finally get to that. But the rest of the turbo kit's going to come off as a whole. Motor, transmission going back to Josh, and we're just going to tear everything down and get it out of the way so we can prepare to put all the Troy stuff in it. So we've got all Troy stuff over here on the pallet. He brought everything. And we're also going to set this car up with a mid plate. Right now it's got just a front plate and the standard motor mounts, and which is fine. That's how Grub Worm ran for years. But we're going to cut those motor mounts off, and we're going to go ahead and do a mid plate. I have one here that's supposed to go on my wife's car, OMG Boost, but I'll go ahead and use that, and I'll order another one for her car to replace it. So set up the camera, get started tearing everything down. So we got the original motor out of Burkhardt's car, now Troy's car. I'm just programmed to say that. Ethan's back there getting the forklift, and we're gonna saran wrap this and get this ready for Burkhardt to pick up into this week. We also got the transmission pulled out. And this is a pretty nice Power Glide. Obviously why he didn't send that with the chassis. We got the turbo kit sitting here. Intake and various things are there. So everything's cleaned out, and the next task is going to be cutting those motor mount stands off. We'll grind them back as clean as we can without getting into the K-member material. You got to watch grinding stuff like that off, because depending on how it's welded, you can grind too much and you can thin the wall out in the tube and make it weak across that section. So we don't want to do that, even if we have to leave a little bit of material there. That's going to be the next task after Ethan gets everything wrapped up over there, the transmission wrapped up. He's going to start doing this. Still got the wishbone bracket welded on. Let's put the motor and transmission in. Motor's back in. Got the front plate bolted up in place. The original tabs that were already done in the chassis. Got a screw jack holding it up because there's nothing holding the rear of the engine up. It was kind of tough getting it in like that and getting it jacked up and supported, but we was able to do that. We've also modified this lower cross member here, or the front cross member. It used to be straight, which was fine because the auto transmission or the power glide that was in it, the bell housing stops about halfway down. Well, with stick shift it goes all the way around, so we had to put a bend in this cross member to get it to clear and go right in between the bell housing right there where the little transition is. So we've got that tacked on. Cody's gonna pull this off and weld it up. We still got to mark the hole to cut in the floor. We're going to cut it with the trans on, I believe, just slightly bigger than what the trans is. We'll drill some reference holes and plot it out and stuff from the top, but we got it all covered up where we don't get no metal or anything in there. The wishbone mount is welded on. I'll show you that. There's a little bit of footage of that. So rolling right along. So fast forward a couple days, we're actually into the following week now. I went ahead and put the headers on, found out the steering shaft obviously is an issue with the Flowtech headers, but that's no big deal because the steering shaft that Troy and them has out of the original purple car is what they're going to put in this car, and so everything's going to work out. So I kind of knew that was going to be an issue, but easy solution there. Got the cross member welded up, bolted in. We've got our mid plate tabs are welded in place and bolted up, so the motor is hanging by itself now, not propped up with boards or anything like that. Haven't really went any further besides just tabbing up the mid plate and getting everything secure, because we're going to be doing some working with TIC Performance on some more R&D on some stuff that's not really out there on the market for the T56 stuff in some of these models. So we'll see where that goes. I might share a little bit about that in the future, but we're gonna get some measurements and stuff before we go too much further, so we can get that in the works and use this car because it's got all the key things that we need to develop this new product. So that's that. Also, looking at the turbo kit situation, we kind of do not want to move the fuel cell to the outside. Now, I put them on the outside a lot. Troy had his on the outside. That's really no big deal, but just with the big front wheels on this car, the turning radius and stuff, it's going to really pack that thing, trying to get it up against the back of the headlight and stuff like that. And I really just, Troy agrees, we just want to leave it where it is. So rather than hack up his turbo kit here that Parker Speed built, which he done a nice job there using his billet flange that he makes, got a nice double slip in it. But rather than hack this up, we're probably just going to sell this hot side, take the components off, and then I'm going to make a new one to kind of adapt around this new chassis. Try to keep it really similar, but probably step the turbo to the side just a little bit like it was. I think he's got another Parker flange, so we can probably just get another tab mount from him and mount it really similar to what we had on the first kit, just route the piping a little bit different, you know, based on his fuel pump and the other stuff he's got going on. So I knew it wouldn't be, you know, a direct swap over pretty much everything to this car, but the main thing was all the chassis stuff pretty much was done, and that was the whole point in trying to get Troy into this car, and with Josh selling him this chassis, it helped everything get moving a lot faster. So we've got all Troy's parts here, so it's good to go. We got the TIC Performance torque boxes in this box. I've not opened them up yet, but that's what they are. We're gonna get moving on putting those in pretty soon. And yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. And I'm gonna just wrap up this video with that. So you guys keep following, and I'll keep posting the progress. See you guys.